Hey, beautiful village. How are you this Tuesday night? I'm just coming to you live for our Tuesday night chats about our intuitive gifts. And this week I'm talking to you about color therapy and auras and our chakras and how they're related to us being intuitive mum and how we can help to use these things when guiding our children. So thank you so much for joining me. Hey, Cynthia. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Heidi. Thank you so much for joining me. Just say hi. Let me know where you're joining me from, how your day has been. And what we're going to do is have a chat about these color therapies, what it is and how to use it, how I use it. And then I'll open it up to do a Q&A so that you can ask me your intuitive questions. I can bring through some guidance to help you on something that you're going through, or any questions about the color therapy, the aura chakras, or anything like that. So let me know what you want to know and we'll see what we can cover tonight. So let's see, where shall we start? Let's talk about color therapy and what is it for starters. So color therapy is based on the science of the vibration of light energy. So looking at the color chart, you can look at it on the spectrum of the frequency of the color. I'm not going to get too technical because if you want to go into that, then you can definitely go and have a look at it. But this is what I base it on. So I often it reminds me of when I was a kid. I've been collecting crystals and doing color therapy and reading about these types of things since I was a kid. This is where I started with my intuitive work as a kid, doing color therapy. And I remember when I was in probably about year 8 science class, and we started doing like the color spectrum and light refractions and that type of thing, and it all just sort of clicked into place. The reason why, like, this is the science behind the intuitive arts, this is the science behind why this works. And I could tell, like, it just clicked into place that these are colors are on a frequency, and the different vibrations. We learned about the kinetic theory in science, how everything's constantly vibrating, everything's constantly moving, and how when we bring something like a color into that vibration, our kinetic energy, our vibration, starts to join up or match or get in sync with the vibration or the frequency of the color. So this is why when we're talking about different emotions that have a frequency, that have a vibration, if we're wanting to either bring that emotion into alignment, bring it into balance, then what we need to do is you can add in a color. You can add in a color to help bring it into balance. So this is why the chakras have their colors. This is why when you look at auras, we'll talk more about what that is in a minute, you can see different colors. So all of that type of thing is talking about the frequency that emotion is emitting, and that you are living, that you are projecting out through into your energetic aura. And then by throwing something else in there, so for example, if you're feeling really, really over energized and passionate or angry and things like that, you can throw something in there that's going to bring that more into balance, like something cooling or calming, to just bring it back down a few notches in your vibration, yeah? And just to balance it out. So you can do these types of things to use it as a balancing act, or to boost. You can boost it with this as well. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But what I mean is that it's related to that color spectrum and the frequencies, the scale is what we're talking about. So when we refer this to the chakras and how this is related to that color wheel, the spectrum and color therapy, is we'll just stick with these colors. They're the colors of the rainbow, so it makes it really simple. And of course there's a whole spectrum, so that means that there's everything in between. So of course there is a whole new range, and there's, as you can tell with emotions and things that are going on, archetypal energy and everything like that, there is a whole range of these things. It's not just cut and these are the only 7 colors that exist. There is a whole spectrum of colors, of emotions, of archetypes, of everything that we can work through. So we'll stick with the chakra colors to keep it simple. And looking at this as like the base chakra energy is red. Okay, so red has the biggest vibration of like the biggest frequency there. So it's really like, if you think of it as a drum, it's really heavy, really thud, really solid energy. And so this is why this is all about the grounding. This is all about the safety and survival instincts. It has big pools of fear underneath that if you look on that shadow side. So if you are wanting to make yourself feel safe, if you're wanting to make yourself feel powerful, then you would be increasing the red in your life. So you bring more red into your clothing. So for example, I've shared this with the 7 Levels group, is that if you're wanting to bring in some more of this energy, you can add in some red underwear or some like a red scarf, or paint your nails red. And how much more of that power and I'm in control does that insinuate through your own energy just by adding that into your wardrobe, into what you're wearing, into what you're doing. Like get a red folder, a red notebook for this type of work. So just adding that color or projecting that color in through your meditation. Like color therapy through meditation. This is something that I work with a lot, especially with kids. My kids love the rainbow meditation to go to sleep, and this is, they can choose whatever color they like to pull into their bubble, and that's a great way to boost their intuitive skills as well, is to hand the control over to them and let them choose the color that they need. Because they haven't read the books on what color therapy is, or what each chakra is or anything like that. They're using their intuition and being guided by the vibration of the color and drawing that to them, what they need at that point in time. So something that I'll expand on that is that by when I'm putting my kids to bed and they're feeling a bit overstimulated or oversensitive, and we're needing to just bring them back into their bodies, something that we will do in that aspect is to be able to think about your bubble, think about your energetic space, and then I talk about their breath. So I'd say breathing in the color that you're wanting to pull closer to you. And so that might be, they might ask for pink, or they might ask for yellow, or green or red, or whatever it is that they really want to call into them. What color do you want to fill your body up with today? What color do you want to fill up your bubble with? And ask them to breathe that color into their body and just fill up their whole space, their whole aura, with the energy of that color. And then I ask them, I don't say, oh, that color means this, or that color means that, or maybe that means you're this. I don't put any of that on them. But what I will do for them is just say, and what does that color bring to you? So they might say, it brings me happiness, or that makes me feel love, or that makes me feel calm. And sometimes they might say it makes me feel angry, because they're still in that emotion, and that's okay. We can embrace all feelings in this space. So it's like, okay, so you still want to be expressing that anger, you still want to be in that. Okay, so that's okay too. And just to be able to acknowledge everything that they're feeling is what I feel is most important. But so you can do that as a nighttime meditation. So looking at color therapy is like the base chakra is the red, and then you move up to the next chakra just below the navel, and this energy is orange. So this is the energy of creativity. This is the energy of your passions. This is the energy of joy. Yeah, joy. And so when we say to you, when was the last time you had fun? This is thinking of orange energy. So if you're somebody who has an aura of orange, I'm just thinking of like, I get the imagery of this bouncy ball that's orange. And I'm just thinking that you're fun, you're energized, and you are full of joy, you're ready for anything, you're up for adventure, you're playful, because you've got this beautiful, bursting, vibrant orange energy. So what would happen if you were just completely lacking in all of those things, and you needed to increase that in your life, is that you bring more orange in. You bring more orange into your life. So wearing the orange clothes, painting your nails orange, these types of things. It's just doing the orange visualization, eating oranges. Like, make me happy. But, you know, it's just lots of things like that that you can do to just consciously think of that color therapy and increasing your level of joy, of passion, of creativity, and desire as well. So this is also related to like a sexual level too. So increasing that there on using color therapy is fun. It just adds in some fun. So you can do it whatever way works for you to draw that energy to your life. If that's something that you need, is more fun, green and orange. And then we look at, you can go up from there to the solar plexus. So from the solar plexus, that's orange. I'm sorry, we just took that orange. Yellow. I've got an interesting story about this one actually, is that myself as a child, I hated the color yellow. So if you've got a color that you just can't stand, then have a think about, what does this color represent, and why was I so rejecting of it? Why did I not want to bring this into my life? It made me feel just yuck. And this is the color of personal power and self-worth. So there we go. So as a child, feeling that that unworthiness and feeling small and belittled and those types of things as a small child can play out in the colors that you choose to surround yourself with. So I remember that we had a lamp, and there was a yellow lamp, and I just did not want it in my space. I was like, I hate that lamp. It's yellow, it's disgusting. And it was a represented light, it was all of this, and I was like, I am not having it in my space at all. I was completely rejecting of that. And looking back on that now, I was like, that is so interesting that we've had that complete rejection of being in a space that would increase my own self-worth, and having to do a lot of work around that as an adult, even to this day. So it's something that we're constantly building on. But now I love it. So bring it in. That's fine. Now let's see, what else do we have from that? Is that my daughter, I asked her when she was going through a bit of a tough time with feeling just really, really out of control of her own body, and just feeling really, really overstimulated and overwhelmed in life and in her energy. And asked her, like, what is it that you're feeling? And she told me that she had a black hole in her belly. And she said that all I need, because she loves music, and she said that I just need some gold music. I need gold music. And I asked her, what does that mean? And it was just what was the music that she liked? It was this singer Gosling, and it's very, very soft music. And so she was calling it her gold music, and so we played that in the car, and she was just happy again. It was just, that was a boost that she needed. She was very much on that music. Once again, vibrations, certain music as well. And so the color that she assigned to that music was gold. Beautiful. So just encouraging that, to describe it as a feeling, describe the music that you want, describe the feeling that you want to bring in as a color, and you can communicate to your kids about their feelings using their colors as well, which is a beautiful way to help them increase their intuition at the same time as helping you to understand where they're at, because they can communicate in colors a lot easier than they can communicate in words. Thank you. So the other thing to have a think about is the next color up from there is green. So the green is the color of the heart chakra. It's the color of connection to nature. It's also the color of love, of healing. Really important there. It's also the color of prosperity and abundance, gratitude. So what do we do when we are wanting to increase our abundance? Is we increase our love and we increase our gratitude. And so this is all in the same plane as green, as the color, the vibration of love. So that, I think, is a beautiful comparison for that. And how do we always get in contact with love? How do we get in connection with that? Is to spend time in nature, to spend some grounding into Mother Earth, that green base, that earthing. Okay, this is all that green vibration, that vibrational energy of green color. Okay, so if you're looking at an aura, and we'll talk about the how-tos of that in a moment, but if you're looking at that with somebody that has got a hue of green around them, then you're thinking they are completely in touch with, they're connected to nature, they're connected to a healing journey, they are just emitting love. And I'll talk about love as well, because I feel like there is, like, working as an energetic healer, and also working from a basis of color therapy. I feel like there's the healing heart, which is green, and then there's the higher heart center, which is pink as well. So this is why there's a lot of crystals for the heart chakra that are green, as well as also being pink ones like your rose quartz and the rhodonite and other ones like that, which are also for the heart. And because there's a higher heart, which is about self-love and giving love to others, but there's also the green is the other part of the heart, which is the central part, which is the deeper healing center, where we store all of our hurts and pain, and we keep all of our unconditional love as well. I feel like that's on a love vibration of green. But we've got our higher heart in pink, and it's a softer, more surface level heart as well. Now, then we move up from there into your throat chakra. So your throat chakra being blue is the color of communication. Now, so I'm wearing like a navy, it's a bit hard because it's darker in here today, but navy blue shirt. So I like to think of when I was working in the corporate world, it was always, you know, wearing navy blue to an interview or something like that was important, because it was communicating, you're communicating what you wanted to come across as, so that you could communicate your heart's desire or what it was that was really your truth. So we have a lot of, like we talk about crystals in this as well, because we can use the colors from crystals. Crystals also work on the vibrational frequency of healing. This is why I love energy healing, because there's so many different aspects that we can draw on to help to set that vibration at the level that we want, to represent the emotions that we want. So the emotional vibration for this throat chakra, the color blue, is going to be about speaking your truth, about hearing your truth as well, because it's also connected to the ears. It's about hearing other people's truth and being there to be able to hold space for them where they're at, and connect that to your heart is about being there in a compassionate space. But it's also about communicating your truth without fear of judgment. So that's huge with this as well. Something that, a funny story about this blue color was that I convinced my mom, if you're watching, Mum's in the village, so hi Mum, convinced my mum when I was a teenager to paint the majority of the inside of our house blue, because I had this thought in my head that it was going to make communication within the house really, really high vibing, and we'd be on a good level of communicating with each other if our whole inside of our house was bright blue. So thank you, Mum, for trusting me and doing that. She did paint the house blue, and under my instructions of my color therapy, arranging everything. So we'll see if that worked. We had some pretty deep conversations in that house, so I'd say I did a good job. Now let's look at the color purple, third eye, intuition. So often you'd think of something purple. Look, I surround my healing room in purple. It's one of my favorite colors. You often see like anything about mystic or intuition or psychic or anything like that. It's with, like, you feel like that's got a purple energy to it, right? It's also a color of royalty, and I think that that's got a beautiful vibe to it, to sit with that energy of the intuitive there, and to be able to go into that envision or that dream state. So it's about being able to go with the vision, open yourself up to trust the vision and flow with that as well. If anybody has any questions about anything that I'm saying, I can see Sunny's here, Sam's here. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions or anything to add, any stories, I'd love for you to comment on what I'm talking about. So let me know, show me some loves with your hearts and everything, so I know that you're picking up what I'm putting down and this is all making sense to you. So yeah, purple is the color of the intuitive. Purple is the color of the dream state, the vision, and to be able to allow yourself to go with that, to be able to allow yourself to flow with that vision as well. Now, the next one up here is the crown chakra. The crown chakra is the energy center that opens us up to us all being as one. So we are as one with the divine. We are as one with source. We are as one with each other in community. Now, this is that everything is unfolding as it should. You are exactly where you need to be. This energy is, for me, as an energetic healer, I see this color as like a pearly white. It also can have like that, you know, that, I'll show you my shell. It's a bit, you know, these shells, the abalone shell with the rainbow, the pearl essence in it. It's got that pearl essence look to it when I work with that, with the crown energy. And so when this comes through, it is just that white light, like when you see that sunbeam shining down through and you capture it in the photo and there's that sunbeam that shines into light. This is that energy that I'm talking about. It just is, it's universal, it's source energy, it is just coming straight for you. And it's to open you up and say that you are divine, you are limitless, you are a being of love, you are a being of the universe. Okay, so when we open ourselves up to that energy, it's just think of that as just so expansive, and it will crack you open. So if you are in that deep meditative space, if you're in a space of prayer, if you are in a space of connection, and you know that you've got that golden thread that is just connecting you from your base, connected down heavy into the earth, and then drawing you all the way up into the heavens above, connected and strong, then you are going to be emitting an aura of this pearlescent crown energy. Okay, so this is where I'm at with that color there, and that is at the highest vibration. And that's why that chakra has that lotus with the 1,000 petals. Okay, so this is at the highest vibration. Also reminds me of the selenite. Can you see that pearlescent light? Crown energy. Connection straight to source. Okay, so that's a very, very brief and rushed through talk about each of the colors and the different types of emotions or energies that can be attached to them. So just to give you a brief idea on it, and when I'm talking about connecting to these ones here, when I'm working with these colors, I've mentioned that you can just bring these colors into your life by adding them into your day. So that can be just working with them in your wardrobe. You can be working with them in the meditation to draw them into your aura, into your space, calling them in, working them with your breath and recycling them through your energy. And it works great as an infinity symbol to recycle it in, recycle it out. And just to have it constantly flowing, constantly moving these colors in and out of your body, of your energy, using your breath, using the visualization in your mind to see the colors flowing in and flowing out. You can do it through just one color if you really want to emphasize one particular theme or lift one particular vibration, or you can do the whole rainbow and do it as an energy cleanse before bed. This is something that I do with the kids, the rainbow meditation. I will share that with you in another live because it's something that I would love for you to implement with your kids at bedtime or when they're stressed or they just need to calm down. I'll share it with you another day. But the other ways that you can implement that is ways that I implement is that as an energy healer is to just draw them into myself. You can just put your hands on your heart. You can put your hands on your third eye, on your throat, or wherever you want to send that energy of this light, and just imagine that you've got this light and this color and a beautiful big ball of energy in your hands. Just feel it fill up. You can feel the energy here in your hands. You might start off really small. You might start off as a tiny little seed of light, then you can expand and grow. And just grow that energy until it grows bigger. And you can work with it if you can't get it much bigger, you can work with it small. It's still going to have a strong impact. The intention's what's important here. The intention is always the most important. You can grow it. So mine's like here. Big sphere of energy, this light, and you can think of it as a beautiful color. What color do you need the most? And then you can just give it a hug and absorb it into your body. You can absorb it into your heart. You can absorb it into your solar plexus if you need that boost of personal power. You can just push that down into your womb and hold it in your womb space as a beautiful fire starter for all of the passions and the desires that you're going to be birthing and creating. You can push that down into your base and your hips and really just like really ground into that as that red earthing, that blood that is pulsing through your body. You can send it as a cooling, refreshing burst, like a menthol to your throat, to just open you up to be able to speak whatever truths you need to do. Blast yourself into awareness, or just really, really infuse yourself with the energy of connection to source and divine and everything you are. Okay, so there are some different ways that you can work with them. Now, auras, I remember when I would have been in high school, and I used to zone out in class a bit, and I'd sit there, and it was something that my mum was reading a book on this, and I took it and was working with it myself, was that it was really good to have that, like I've got behind me here, a white background. So the teacher standing at the front of the classroom with a whiteboard behind them is what I can remember. And I see your question there, Heidi. I'll come back to that. So with the whiteboard behind, and if they start to they're talking, they might be swaying, like I'm swaying a bit while I'm talking now. The swaying helps. And you start to see a bit of an envelope. What I mean by that is just a bit of like a small, close to the body, just like around here, an envelope of light. There might be just like a bit of a fuzz that comes out around somebody at first. And you can practice this with trees. You can practice this with anything that's got living energy through it. So like cut flowers, things like that, won't really work once they've been cut because their life force has been taken. But if they're growing in the garden, yes, you can do that. If they've got life force, they've got roots in the ground, they're living, they've got water. They're people, it's the easiest. So that I can see that envelope of light that's moving around, and then you just focus on that and focus on that expanding. And so you can see them getting bigger and bigger and bigger on people. And so you can think about what color is that you can envision. And this is where I say trust your intuition. And this is why we do Intuitive Tuesdays, and I'm encouraging you to test your intuition, to practice, because as I say, this is a muscle that the more you use it, the stronger it will get. Okay, so you could put up a post to say, first 6 people to comment below or send me an emoji, I will tune into your energy. You can post a selfie in the comments or whatever it might be to help you. And I will tune into your energy and tell you which color you are emitting at the moment and what that means. And so you can do that with your intuition. Go for it. It's a fun one to do. But you can see the energy of the auras and what is the energy that this person is emitting. And now this is something interesting, is that you might have seen the aura photography that's going around. Something to keep note is if you do see that aura photography, that's not what you are all the time. So your aura is constantly changing. Okay, it's going to change depending on your mood, on what you're thinking, on who you've been surrounded by, your environment, everything like that. So when you get those aura photography taken, you know, that's a snapshot of your energy. And as we know, our energy, our emotions are up and down and all around. So just keep that in mind, that those aura photographies are a snapshot of what's going on for you at the time. It's not to say that you are always projecting this energy. It's not to say that you are always in that space. So have a think about what's happening for you at the time, if you've ever had a photo like that taken. Okay, but you can start to do have a think about people that you're watching. If they've got a white background behind them, it makes it easier. If they're swaying, it makes it easier. If I've heard them say that, like, as we were practicing as kids, me and my brother used to practice, is if that person was saying the alphabet backwards, the person that was standing there, then it is apparently easier, but I could never say my alphabet backwards, so we didn't really get too far on that one. But I think it's just like taking that concentration away from what am I putting out there, what am I projecting. It's taking that away from saying, like, I'm trying to project love, I'm projecting love, to saying, well, what's really going on when you're not paying attention? What are you really projecting when you're not trying to project anything? I think that's the reason why I asked that. Yeah, so Heidi says, can I ask what magenta might represent? I always get magenta when I bring in a color. So I've got my ideas on what magenta might represent, but Heidi, I'm going to ask you, what feeling does it bring up for you? You there, just send me a reply. What feeling does that magenta, when you bring a color in to your space, into your bubble, if you're bringing a color in, you bring magenta, what does that make you feel? Let me know. Because I always feel like when you're bringing, that's why I say for the kids, you tell me what the color means for you, because especially if you're drawing that color in yourself, if you're not seeing it in somebody else's aura, if that's the color that intuitively comes to you when you're asking for some support, there we go. Maybe safety, connection. Yeah, beautiful. So magenta is definitely a form of the red. It's also got that higher heart center to it as well. So magenta mixed with that higher heart. So that's about self-love, about feeling love, feeling protected is what I'm getting in from that. It's like that mother energy as well. Is that when I say mother, what I mean by that is that it's like a mega. You know what I mean by that? When I say that, a mega energy of a matriarchal protection energy, somebody that you can rely on, and a confidant to rely on there. So that's that energy that's coming through. It's that base chakra, that connection, that safety of a matriarchal figure is what I'm calling in there intuitively for you, Heidi. So it's saying that you have got a mega energy, which is like like a fairy godmother energy coming in and wrapping you up and saying that I've got you, I'm here, I'm holding you. And that's that energy there is what I'm feeling for you at the moment, that connection for you. Yes? Excellent. You've got it. See, you already knew it was what it's for. So this is where we say trust that. So this is where we take that safety of the base, the red, that earthy redness of blood red rust, and then we mix it with the love and kindness of mother, and that's when you get that. That's a beautiful feeling. Thank you for sharing with us, Heidi. Have we got anybody else joining in that has any questions? If you are watching back, just let me know if you have any questions, and I can come back to this thread at a later time and answer them for you. But it's been my absolute pleasure to share this with you tonight. And thank you so much for watching. But that's me, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.